Welcome to the deep dive. We grab a stack of sources, pull out the key insights, the surprising stuff, and hopefully make it interesting enough to get you well-informed fast. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it might sound super specialized, but it's actually fundamental to, how our modern industrial world works. We're talking about the world of screwed ball valves. Unexpected, maybe, but a rapidly growing market.
It really is one of those unsung heroes of industry, isn't it? So our mission today is basically to unpack this recent market analysis from cognitive market research. We want to kind of peel back the layers, figure out what's driving the growth, what challenges they're facing, and, the cool innovations coming up. Think of it as getting you the essentials on a really vital piece of the global economy.
Okay, and when we look at these valves, the report makes it pretty clear why they're so common, right? It talks about really reliable, sealing, leak-proof stuff. Plus, they're durable, easy to use. But the big thing, especially for fluid control, seems to be how they handle high pressure, sometimes over 500 psi, which is a lot, and big temperature swings, too. They're kind of the workhorses, making sure liquids, chemicals, whatever, flow just right. Okay, so let's unpack this then. Let's get into the numbers and just how big is this market and where's it headed? Is the growth really that significant?
Oh, it absolutely is. According to cognitive market research, we're looking at around USD 2,814.5 million in 2024. But here's the kicker. It's projected to hit USD 4,158.3 million by 2032. That's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 5.0%. That's, solid, steady growth for a component most people never think about.
Yeah, that's a strong number. And when you connect that to, everyday industries, it starts to click. The main drivers seem to be this rising need for really efficient, durable fluid control.
Right.
Across all sorts of places. Oil and gas, obviously, chemical processing,
Wow.
even huge water treatment plants. They need these things to work reliably.
Exactly. And if you dig a bit deeper, it's not just general demand fueling it. There's a big push towards industrial automation. More automation means better, more reliable components, plus huge investments globally in pipeline infrastructure. And, this is important, tougher rules about preventing leaks. That wasn't always such a big focus. Material-wise, you see a shift too. Stainless steel, high-performance alloys, and greener stuff like lead-free materials. Oh, and integrating smart monitoring tech. It's a mix of things.
All right, which leads right into innovation, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The report mentions a specific example, March 2023, a new corrosion-resistant valve from a big manufacturer, designed specifically for tough jobs in chemical and oil and gas. What does that tell us? Are they really pushing the envelope on durability?
Oh, absolutely. It shows they're directly tackling those harsh operating conditions. This valve, for instance, is built to resist those aggressive chemicals better. So it lasts longer, needs less maintenance, and, cuts down on operational costs, which is huge in industries where stopping production is incredibly expensive. It's all about reliability under stress.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Geographically, how does this market break down? Where's the action concentrated right now? Any surprises in where the growth is happening?
Yeah, looking at 2024, North America is actually leading, about 37% of the market. That makes sense given their manufacturing base, advanced pipelines, oil and gas investments. Europe's next, strong at 30%. Lots of strict environmental rules there, plus ongoing industrial upgrades. But the really interesting one is Asia Pacific, around 25% right now, driven by just massive industrialization infrastructure projects. China, India, Japan are huge consumers.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Asia Pacific isn't just big now. It's projected to jump to 28% share by 2025. And it has the highest growth rate, that 5.8% CAGR. What does that signal about, broader global shifts? Is it about new industrial powerhouses emerging?
It's definitely a huge indicator of where the world's new industrial capacity is being built. Think about the scale, new chemical plants, water systems, energy infrastructure. It's enormous. These economies are investing heavily in modernizing, and that requires vast amounts of reliable fluid control. So yeah, it points to where the foundational industrial build-out is happening right now.
That's fascinating. So within this growing, shifting landscape, who are the big companies, the key players driving things?
Well, it's a pretty competitive field. You've got major players like Kirloskar Brothers. They had about 17% market share in 2024. Then Heitima with 14%, Truline Valve around 12%. These are the big names. And they're not just sitting back. They're constantly pumping money into R&D, improving durability, efficiency, plus strategic stuff like mergers and acquisitions to get bigger globally and grab more tech advantages.
Okay, so with all that competition, why screwed ball valves specifically? Why are they winning out? How do they compare to, say, gate valves or butterfly valves? What's their edge?
It mostly comes down to design and performance, really. They're liked for being compact, easier to fit in tight spots, and their sealing is top-notch, which is critical for leaks. If you look at the whole industrial valve market, screwed ball valves had like 42% share in 2024. That's quite a bit more than gate valves at 30% or butterfly valves at 20%. Gate valves are great for high-pressure shutoff, sure, but ball valves operate with less force, low torque, they call it. That makes them way better for automation. Plus, they generally need less maintenance. The report even sees their share nudging up to 44% by 2025. So that preference for reliability and efficiency is growing.
That sounds like a clear advantage. But, every booming market has its challenges. What are the bumps in the road for screwed ball valves, according to the research?
You're right, there are definitely challenges. One big one is how sensitive they can be to extreme pressure swings and temperature changes. The report mentions that big surges, like over 500 psi, can actually damage the seals over time, which means, well, more frequent maintenance, maybe shorter lifespan in some cases.
And then there's corrosion, right? Even with the fancy alloys.
Mhm.
Exposure to harsh chemicals, salty environments.
Mhm.
It can still cause problems like pitting or crevice corrosion.
Mm.
Little hidden spots of damage.
Exactly. Those things lead to material breakdown,
Mm.
and that obviously increases costs for inspection, replacement. It adds up.
And what about clogging? Is that an issue?
It can be, yeah. The report flags that when you're dealing with really thick, viscous fluids or liquids with particles in them, debris can build up inside the valve. And that can cut efficiency by, they estimate, up to 15%. So that definitely raises questions about needing better filtration before the fluid even gets to the valve.
Right. And the last hurdle seems to be cost.
Yeah.
Especially for the advanced automated ones.
Yeah, that's a factor. Those high-tech valves with all the bells and whistles, they offer great long-term benefits, but the upfront price tag can be steep, especially for smaller companies or industries working on tighter budgets.
So making those more affordable somehow through manufacturing or pricing, that seems pretty key for wider adoption.
Definitely crucial for expanding the market further.
Okay, so let's shift gears. Looking ahead, given those challenges, but also the drive for better performance, what's next? What kind of innovations are we likely to see in the screwed ball valve world?
Well, the future is really about tackling those limitations head-on with new tech. The sources give a good example. Valmet's Nils XH ball valve. It just launched in February 2024. And it's specifically engineered for those super demanding industrial situations. Better sealing, better resistance to extreme conditions. It directly addresses those issues of pressure and temperature sensitivity we talked about.
And then there's the really futuristic stuff.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence. Predictive maintenance. That sounds like a potential game changer.
Yeah.
Smart valves that monitor themselves.
Exactly. Imagine valves with AI built in, constantly analyzing data, predicting when maintenance is needed before a failure happens, and optimizing flow on the fly. That could lead to massive cost savings, mostly by cutting out that unexpected downtime. It's a huge leap.
Wow. And what about the materials themselves? Are we seeing breakthroughs there too?
For sure. Material science is key. We're talking next-gen alloys, new composite materials, stuff with even better resistance to corrosion and wear. And what's really fascinating is the potential for nanotechnology coatings. Imagine surfaces that are essentially self-cleaning or inherently anti-corrosive. That could drastically improve durability and cut maintenance needs even further.
And sustainability is creeping in here too, isn't it? Even for something like a valve, manufacturers looking at eco-friendly options,
Yeah.
biodegradable lubricants, recyclable materials.
Yes, absolutely. It shows that even these fundamental components are part of that broader push for environmental responsibility. It's about reducing the environmental footprint, thinking about the whole life cycle, fitting into that circular economy idea. It's quite interesting to see.
So it seems like tackling those core challenges, corrosion, pressure limits, that's where the competitive edge will be.
That's exactly right. Those ongoing innovations are what will keep differentiating the players in this market. They're not just about making a better valve, they're about ensuring these components can meet the evolving demands of industry and maintain their critical role.
What a fascinating dive.
Yeah.
We've gone from, understanding why these valves are so fundamental, seeing their impressive growth, driven by everything from pipelines to automation, then hitting the challenges like extreme conditions and cost, and now looking at these incredible innovations, AI, new materials, even sustainability. It's a whole narrative packed into what seems like a simple part.
It really is. And the core takeaway is pretty clear. This market for screwed ball valves, it's really poised for some transformative growth. It's being pushed by constant tech improvements, expanding industrial needs worldwide, and that relentless move towards automation. Their role in precise fluid control is just well, indispensable across so many sectors.
Hopefully this deep dive has given you, our listener, a bit of a fresh perspective on maybe a hidden piece of the industrial puzzle. It really is amazing how something often unseen can be right at the heart of so much innovation and economic activity, quietly making so much work.
And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. We're seeing this huge global focus now on critical infrastructure, on water management, the whole energy transition. So, how might the way these unsung heroes, these vows, continue to evolve? How might that directly shape the efficiency, the safety, the sustainability of the very systems that underpin our modern lives?
That's a really powerful question to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope these insights maybe spark some connections to your own areas of interest or work.